everybody, and welcome to another episode of Top Rope Talk. I am your host, Denzel Snipes, and we're all pretty much hosts here. But to the right of me is the sports agent himself, MLB and NFL agent Sean Rossi, and right down below is the pundit himself, Jacob Christner. So,
Sean, I love your James Carville. I love your younger James Carville look. Why not? You know, it's like you just don't have the Louisiana accent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, before we get started, just want to remind everybody to follow us on all of our. Actually, Jacob, take it away. Let them know where to follow us.
Oh, Sideline Sports, Sideline One Sports on the TikTok. You'll find me on. You'll find all three of us on Facebook under our names, of course. I am now. By the way, I am now on X. I am now on X, and I am Jake the Pundit, whatever, and everything like that. I'm on there, and I'm building up my deal, and I'm on Instagram and whatever.
All right, and so, we had a hell of a night on Saturday night, and that was for WWE Survivor Series War Games in San Diego, the much hyped event that had been hyped up for about the past, since last year it had been announced that it was in San Diego, and then the event finally arrives, and yeah, a bit of mixed emotions behind this one, but we'll go ahead and we'll get right to it. Give me 1 second here. We'll go ahead and get right to it here for our WWE Survivor Series War Games recap. We'll go ahead and start from the bottom and work our way to the top. So the Women's World Championship, champion Stephanie Becerra retained against Nikki Bella. I honestly don't have that much to say about this. I honestly think we could have done without this, and that's nothing against Becerra or Bella. I've met the Bella twins in person; they're awesome. But this match could have been on Raw. I don't know, Sean. What do you think, man?
Yeah, I mean, I think the build to this match was just a little weak overall, and I think this is what happens when you try to do a build in a 4 to 6 week period versus, especially Nikki Bella is considered a legend. I think you could give that storyline 2 or 3 months to develop versus kind of rushing it so there's a women's championship match, at Survivor Series, because obviously, the rest of the women were involved in War Games, but I think it was a little bit of a rush storyline. But yeah, like you said, kind of what was expected. I didn't see any way Nikki was taking the title.
Okay. And then Jacob, your thoughts?
Well, see, and this is the big thing. Can you tell we have the gray hairs both on the beard and top and everything like that with Nikki Bella as a legend? But really by itself, and see, I'm telling you this, Sean. You're talking about that you want to be able to, as far as the story, he's trying to build that story 3 months and everything. You got to remember, shows like Landman are going to basically 8 to 10 weeks. Yeah. Every show that we get is 8 to 10 weeks now, so people, even like WWE, like everybody else is afraid, even though I want to have a more layered storyline, but we're all three of us used to layered storylines. A lot of the younger ones are not. You know what I mean? They're used to the now. So as much as anything else, but really by itself, it was not a shock with this outcome by itself, because they're considering that it would have looked stupid with that short of a time to have Nikki win.
Absolutely. Well, okay, and now let's get to a little bit more. I mean, like I said, a shout out to Stephanie Becerra on the match. Honestly, that match could have been on Raw or SmackDown, and it would have made just as much an impact, really. But let's go on to our Intercontinental Championship match. So Dominic is now a two-time World Wrestling Entertainment Intercontinental Champion. I want to say World Wrestling Federation so bad, but anyway, Intercontinental Championship. It took the entire Judgment Day to take out John Cena. Me personally, I thought it was a little bit funny that Cena was getting jumped by the females. It was hilarious, but then ultimately, Liv Morgan comes back, and I was a little bit wrong last week. I said I thought that Liv Morgan would come out and attack Dom. That's what it appeared at first, but then she went on and attacked Cena and set up the finishing moves and the victory. So, two questions for you, Sean. Your thoughts about this match, and also how will John Cena's loss affect the final match?
Yeah, so I mean, it put a lot of questions in my head in terms of, are they actually going to let him win his final match? Especially if Gunther does not win tonight, I'm definitely booking a Cena win over Solo or LA Knight. I don't think they'll have Uso lose to him, but I don't think they'll have Cena lose if it's not Gunther. And then like we talked about in the group chat, I would have just left the title on him, because then you elevate the person who beats him in his last match and you elevate the title. Yeah. Now you could have Dom run around saying, "Oh, I was the last person to beat Cena," but I don't know if how well that will play out at this time.
I think that actually, believe it or not, would generate mass heat. I mean, I don't know what it is. Like, Dom has like that kind of that punchable aura. Like he could walk in a room and say nothing and you want to kick his ass. You know what I mean? But same to you, Jacob. Your thoughts about this match, and also, and you know what? I mean, was this the right call? And
well,
how was this
they did the Undertaker 1994 deal. Just had everybody jump. It's just less people, but it's like they just had that. But really, by itself, what does it matter anymore? He's one shot. He's got one match away. Mm-hmm. It's one match away. It's like, and no, I don't think there's any other heat that he could get. I mean, they don't give a lot of heat these days. Yeah, as far as real heat, the only real heat that Dom could get left is taking his dad's mask and retiring him. I said that over and over again. But
you've had that theory for months now.
Yeah. It's like I don't think there's really, but the thing is, as far as Cena getting jumped by the women and everything like that, I'm like, it's the same as Mick Foley. They're too giving. He's too giving. It's like, no, I don't want to see him bumping for them. No, I do not. I mean, his hand is bigger than their head, but it's just
true.
I mean, it's just goofy. But I mean, just either way, though. At this point in time, it really doesn't matter. But this retirement has to stick, though. He's got to go to movies and come back in 4 years or something.
Right.
Right. Just make an appearance. He can't come. He can't do another match again because they've given him everything.
Mm-hmm. Understandable on that one. And you know what? Another question, and we'll start off with Sean on this one regarding the future of Judgment Day, because Dom's got the title back and everything, and Balor's kind of been relegated to the tag division, and that's all good and everything, but we've now seen, in full, that the Judgment Day is not going anywhere anytime soon. Liv is back with them and everything. There's no breakup or anything like that. Do you think it's time for Finn Balor to once again solidify the Judgment Day and go after one more world title? Sean?
Yeah, it's tough because it seems like they've been kind of playing up where they were going to break up for a bit. And, they have lost the tag titles here recently after holding them for a long time, but not a lot of defenses in that reign. I honestly think they could break up the group and see Dom and Liv go the other way because they're so popular, and have the other three, maybe remain the heel Judgment Day and they kick Dom and Liv out. Yeah.
Only thing about it is you're now turning Dom full-fledged face. That's a pretty tall order.
Yeah, I just keep going back to that pop he got at Mania last year, and it seems like every time he wins, even as a heel, he doesn't get a lot of boos, and I know it's more entertainment now, and people react to it differently. I mean, even when Breaker took his straps off and put them back down, you heard some chuckles in the crowd versus just some straight boos for a heel. You could hear the chuckles, so it's a different reaction you're getting these days, so I think it would work for a little bit, not a long time run, but I think to break up the Judgment Day, you could get it done.
Okay, all right. And then same for you. Your thoughts about do you think that it's time for Finn Balor to perhaps chase one more world title?
Let's just be completely honest. Before you bring that part up, there's only one character, and I'm talking about human being, depending on where it is, that can get legitimate, beautiful love or absolute searing hate. It's Donald Trump. That's it.
Fair.
He goes to Alabama or Florida, you know what that's going to be. He goes to Washington D.C. or New York, you know what that's going to be.
Exactly.
It's basically like Canada, United States thing, and he's just a walking version of it.
Yeah,
but
there's no in between.
Yeah, but the big thing. I mean, the big thing over, and I was bringing this part. I want to say this. I want to answer this part right here. Was it anything the right call? In truth, I might have had Cena go 9-10 straight. I mean, the one thing is Mick Foley, in his retirement, put everybody over. He might as well put everyone over. I wanted to answer that. He might as well put everyone over on the way out because that's what wrestlers did forever and ever and ever. And amen.
Right.
And everybody talks about, and by the way, everybody talks about that his that his nemesis was Brock Lesnar, and he just couldn't take him.
Mm-hmm.
You want to know? You don't want to know what John Cena is to Brock Lesnar? It's basically the Tennessee Titans to the Philadelphia Eagles. And it's like, I mean, out of 10 games, Tennessee might have the greatest day in the world, like Cena did one time. But then the Eagles are going to beat that crap out of them the rest of the time. That's what that is. That's what life is. There are guys that are just another level. Cena brings that up in that story.
Yeah, no, totally agreed on that one. Totally agreed. And so, all right, now for our two War Games matches. So, Sean, looks like we were correct, man. The faces did it on the women's side. Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, Alexa Bliss, and Charlotte Flair and AJ Lee defeated Nia Jax, Last Legend, the Kabuki Warriors, and Becky Lynch. Favorite part of the match. Now, I'm going to go real quick on this one. And I'm going to say, actually, my favorite part of the match was Last Legend. Think about it. This was Last Legend's first match on the main roster was in War Games. And she was dominant. She was dominant. So dominant that it took a member of her own team to take her out. You know, so that right there, that overall, I loved the match. I did. Last Legend was that she stood out to me just because she was making her debut, and she did far from a terrible job in my opinion. Sean, what do you think?
Yeah, no, and like we talked about with Nia and Lash kind of being bigger, you know, they have to kind of be taken out in different ways and multiple people involved. So I think they did a great job making her look strong, especially in a War Games type match. And, you know, like, it's a little bit of a launch pad, you know, obviously to Rumble and Mania season. So it'd be interesting to see where they go with Lash Legend from here, because they really made her look strong there. But like, you know, we said on the previous show, we thought the faces would win. Didn't really see any reason for the faces to lose or the heels to win in this one. No real big surprises for me during the match.
Okay. And Jacob, your thoughts?
I would say one of the things that I loved Rhea's entrance. Loved that entrance. It absolutely felt like a video game. It felt like she was on GTA and she was one of the villains.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, absolutely. Like she's like a drug. She's like a drug king queen. You know what I mean? I mean, queen pin. Yeah. She's like a drug queen pin, and then she's out at the bar with the way that her makeup was. That she's over at the bar. Or she's at the nightclub and everything. That's how she dresses when she's not in business. Yeah. It's like that's exactly. But plus, I'll tell you one thing: the whole trash can bit was a little far-fetched. But these girls are tough. I'll give it this. These girls are tough.
They are
to be able to take something like that, you know.
They went into the Jeff Hardy film for that one.
Oh, exactly.
They dug in the archives for that one. But instead of swanton diving into a trash can, why don't we just wear the trash can and then swanton dive?
Exactly.
You know. So, but no. Overall, and I thought it was the right. Now, did you think it was the right call that AJ Lee should have gotten a submission on Becky Lynch, Jacob?
You know, I mean, really by itself. I mean, I'm just saying this. By itself, who had the biggest comeback thing? 10 years. Who had the biggest thing of comeback? It's like she's the one that skips in. She's the one that gets all that stuff. You might as well.
Okay.
You absolutely might as well, because she's the one. She had that big old comeback thing. That place went pop. And you had to remember this about the War Games. There were people complaining that the baby faces won the War Games, blah, 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 blah. There are people that complain online. I'm like, you all obviously grew up with the NWO.
Yeah.
you obviously, the NWO was the only time baby heels won the War Games.
Won
baby
War Games,
always
exactly.
Win War Games. Heels always get the advantage. Baby faces always get the win at the end. That's the way it's always been.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And then Sean, what about your thoughts on? Do you think that was the right call that AJ Lee should have gotten the fall on Becky Lynch?
And just to touch real quick before I touch on that, the entrances, like you mentioned, Jacob. So I had a small problem with it, right? Because when someone's getting beat up on Monday or Friday, we sprint to the ring. But like when Roman came out, his family is getting his ass kicked, and we're pacing to the ring. So I had a little issue with no pods and doing the full entrances, but I get it. It's entertainment value.
The Hardys are the masters of this. Matt's getting his butt kicked, and here's Jeff going.
Yeah.
I mean, while the thing's going up, it's his brother.
Yeah. But in terms of AJ Lee, I think it was definitely the right call because I think we're getting a big payoff match. Either at Rumble or Mania between the two of them. What the specialty of that match will be, and whether it's Hell in a Cell or whether it's a submission match, whatever it may be. I think we get the payoff match for that down the line. I just hope she doesn't disappear for another 6 to 7 weeks now until Rumble season is actually here.
Okay. Fair enough. Very, very fair enough. All right, and now let's move on to our men's War Games. So, hey, we were right again. Kind of had a feeling this was coming. So, Team Vision, the Braun brothers, Logan Paul, Drew McIntyre, and Brock Lesnar defeated CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, the Usos, and Roman Reigns. They did bring up a bit of a tidbit. This is the first time in 20 years that Brock Lesnar actually had a tag partner. He was actually in the match with more than one person, and it was part of a team. But it ended mysteriously when a masked man climbed into the cage, curb stomped CM Punk, and set up Braun Breaker to get the final fall on CM Punk. Any speculation to whom our mystery man could be, Jacob?
It definitely. I mean, that is way too small of a dude to be Seth. But
Seth Rollins, exactly.
So you did this. It's kind of like the much bigger superhero that pulls the Nazi, but the Nazi like 5'2" being get to his uniform. It's in every 80s movie ever. That's what that would feel like. It's like, yeah, right. But in truth, if you want to know what it would feel like, it's too late now. But that feels like a Christopher Daniels type thing.
Yeah,
it's too late in life now. But that is something he should have done about 10 years ago. You know what I mean? 15 years ago. It's like he'd be exactly that size.
Okay.
So who is it now? That's a really good question. It's like I'd like it to be my buddy Trevor Eon. The wrestler.
Yeah.
I love it. But here's the thing: that Trevor's bigger than that guy.
Oh, there we go. Sean, your thoughts on this match and who you think the masked man could be?
Yeah, so I thought the match was well done. I think they protected who they wanted to protect in terms of how they made sure Roman and Brock were kind of down because they went through a table and stuff. And it was interesting to me, and I watched it back this afternoon. And I don't know if you guys caught it. They showed Breakker spearing everyone other than Roman. The announce team announced that he had got hit and was down, but they didn't announce that Breakker had actually speared him. But you kind of tell by the crowd reaction that he was speared. But it was interesting to me that they don't actually show Roman getting speared by Breakker right before the rest of the hoopla breaks down there. But I think it was a way to protect them. And honestly, I thought when we initially talked, it was for two. I looked at some super kicks today. I still think I would like it to be for two and just kind of, hey, my family forgot about me type of deal. It's not even him joining the Vision or him hating CM Punk. My family forgot about me. I'm pissed off. No one came to my aid when Drew McIntyre was kicking my ass for weeks, but you guys came to CM Punk's aid. But honestly, I don't know where you go if it's Austin Theory, because are you going to give him a world championship match? So what I would like to see is just keep him a mystery man until Seth is healthy.
Really?
That's a good idea, actually.
So just draw it out until past WrestleMania?
And just he's got so much hatred for Punk that he just couldn't stand it, and he cost him everything until he's healthy. And then he reveals, even if he cost him a match, and if it's Breakker that's going to get the belt, I think it has to be a multi-man match so it doesn't look like Seth helped Breakker. It was just his hatred for Punk for him to cost Punk the title.
No. I want to name something I really liked about the match, though. And I mean, people underestimate Brock Lesnar, and it's the way he sells and the way they did this. I love how remember when they came back, when Roman came back and he went full blast into that into the ropes and full blast with that punch, the flying punch, and he went down and he went, you know, the usual.
Yeah.
When he went into that, this time around, he didn't have room to give it all, so Brock didn't sell it.
Right.
He did not sell it, so he just kind of stumbled a little bit. That's brilliant. That is how I want to see Breaker.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I want to see Breaker like that. It's like, to me, Breaker bounces too dang much. He bounces too much. He does too many regular spots with regular wrestlers for the kind of skills he's got. He has got Brock's skills. He's got Brock's skills. It's like, it's everybody thinks every single time that I bring this up, so many people when I talk to them, they think that I don't like selling because it's the old Hulk Hogan time. No, it's not that. Because that dude sold more than he should have for 320 pounds. But it isn't that. I like if it's a really, really, really well. I mean, if it's something like a Breaker, if it's someone like a Lesnar, and they are well ahead of you in your skills, in the skills department, I like a story where you have to be destroyed and have to figure it out. It's like, it should not be back and forth. And I was bringing up the Tennessee Titans and the Philadelphia Eagles. It shouldn't be back and forth. That should be a 40-point game.
No, and it just, to echo your point, I think that's where they messed up with Lashley the second time they brought him in. Yeah. Too much of making him look like he wasn't who he was, but early on he was destroying everyone. But then 6 months in, all of a sudden he's going back and forth with people that just he shouldn't be going back and forth with.
Yeah, this is the same dude that, and Jacob, we've shared this clip back and forth. The same dude that power slammed Viscera.
Yeah, I mean, if you've got guys with that kind of movement, the only guy that should knock him over is Brock. The only guy that should knock Brock over is Bobby. You know, unless he screws up. You know what I mean? It's like the one thing I gave credit to the Dom for was he didn't even flinch. He didn't even flinch Gunther when they faced each other. Didn't even flinch him, and it's like he got it. He got it. It's like, I mean, I think Gunther went down once when he missed. You know, it's like he didn't even, and that's the whole thing. If you have a skill level that's a next level. Like, to me, I hated when Kurt Angle sold for certain. I wanted Kurt Angle to squash Hulk Hogan. I wanted him to. I mean, what's that beaten up old man that's got the flexibility of a 2x4? What's he doing even touching Angle? In his prime Angle at that.
Yeah.
What's he doing? I mean, that tells me, if you were going to play the game, that's telling me that wrestling is completely fake and it's a work. If we were back in that time. Yeah.
I mean,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I was gonna say, move on real quick to our last topic because we got 2 minutes left. This is our top rope throwback. So, December of 1998, Austin actually hangs the Undertaker symbol following the victory over The Rock and the Undertaker when he tagged with Mankind. Sean, your thoughts about this?
Yeah, so this was one of the bigger tag matches in terms of some of their top individual stars, as they had Austin and Mankind team and Rock and Undertaker team. You know, the corporate ministry had just kind of been loosely formed. For me, it was more of a, hey, we understand you have our backs, we have your backs, versus them being an actual group together. They came out a few times, but I felt like they were still more separate entities. But Taker and Austin's rivalry was really heating up at that point. And after Austin wins that match, you know, Taker and Rock jump Mankind, throw him out the ring, I believe. Then they jump Austin, and Austin eventually ends up, you know, on the cross. It caused some controversy outside of WWE, but I think, you know, inside the building, it went over well. It was a well-played angle in terms of where they went with Taker and Austin down the line.
Okay. And then, Jacob, your thoughts about this moment?
They did, and just like the one thing that made Austin so much was the fact that he got jumped, he'd keep fighting until he had no more.
Right.
They did it. Here's the thing. They jumped him and knocked him out to be able to put him on that cross. It wasn't like, oh, I'm going to lay here.
Yep.
You know,
yep.
I'm going to lay here. I'm going to wait for them to get it. It's like they jumped him and they hit it hard. And it's like, that's what you do with someone that is a brawler. And And I remember that. It was a tough. I remember that by itself. Yeah, you got to remember it. That kind of thing. I'm surprised because that kind of thing with the cross in ECW took Angle away from it.
Yeah.
Because Angle was always a believer. So, so that did took him away. I'm guessing they talked. I'm guessing they all talked it out, and he wasn't involved. I guess you know what I mean. So he wouldn't do it.
Okay. And then, and actually, right before we go off the air, interesting tip.
What year was that, by the way? What year was it, by the way?
About 98, 99.
He wasn't there. He wasn't there because he wasn't there, so he wouldn't know it.
Okay. No, actually, I think I know who you're talking about, and that is actually The Undertaker. The Undertaker, being a devout Christian all his life, he said it was the hardest thing he had to do was play that version of The Undertaker for that time period.
Well, and you got to remember, Dan Severn, they tried to get him to do the 666, and he's like,
No,
and you can tell me, ask me to lose. That's like you're not going to tell me to lose.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's our show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in for our WWE Survivor Series recap episode. We'll be back with you next week. Monday Night Raw is on. Go enjoy Raw. Follow us on all of our platforms and all of our talk shows. We are back on this week. Thanksgiving is over with. Now it's time for the final stretch of 2025. So we will see you all next week for Top Rope Talk.